So welcome everyone to another Around the Block talk. Today we have with us Mr. Leon Kim. He's the CEO of Crayon DAO, and his DAO works with NFTs and provides financial instruments for them. So very happy to have you here with us, Leon, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and inviting me to the show today. And before I begin, do you mind if I share my screen to present with the visual aids so I can make it easier for everyone?
Sure.
Great. So can you see my screen well?
Yes, it's there.
Right. So let me just briefly give you an introduction of who I am and what I'm trying to do and what we're trying to do. So thanks for your time again. My name is Leon. I'm the founder and CEO of Crayon. And Crayon is building a base camp for NFT DAOs. And we're treating each journey of NFT DAO as the Mount Everest expedition, where Crayon serves as your base camp. And we also have a DAO for the Crayon, which are basically Sherpas that's going to guide your journey from the beginning to end. So essentially, we are DAO as a service or DAO tooling platform that's focused more on the NFT side. And our mission for the next 12 months is to serve at least 100 plus meaningful NFT DAOs on our platform to make a lasting impact across the industry. And with DAO as a focus, we're also providing additional features such as NFT-backed loans, NFT rental and lease, on top of the features that are pre-existing on the DAO tooling platforms. And it is obviously crucial for us to understand the life cycle of DAOs, whether it be fungible token based or non-fungible token based, right? So we have decided to become a customer of ourselves in a way that we initiated a DAO, right? So Heritage DAO is, like a fungible token based DAO that we have initiated, of which the mission was to pull in capital to buy the national treasure of South Korea. There's a bit of sad story behind it. So any business that people gathers around were obviously badly impacted by Corona, right? And it was no difference for this very private, first prestigious art museum in South Korea. So out of desperation and devastation, they were forced to put two national treasures out for an auction, which has never happened in the history of Korea. And it is very much likely that it's never going to happen again. So we heard about this incident on the 23rd of January, which was Sunday evening, and we had little less than 4 days to do anything about it. So within 3 days, we recouped the team, minimum viable team, got the website, got the storytelling, and splashed it across our network with an intention to raise funds to secure at least one national treasure. And quite luckily, within just 24 hours, we raised more than 600 plus ETH. And long story short, within just 8 days from the inception of the very first idea, we got the national treasure, one of them, and we raised more than 900 plus ETH. And we were able to raise awareness about this incident, not just in Korea, but globally, by me doing the interviews with media such as Forbes and CoinDesk. And with that, the physical asset is back to the original seller, with them being the custodian of it. And with us, being the digital native with the intellectual property and the ownership, we actually issued and dropped the 10,000 PFP campaigns, of which we're going to trap in the stages and, provide it to our community in an effort to expand the HDAO. Now, this is the NFT based community, and in the future we also have a plan to integrate all the governance and all the features that NFT DAOs would want. So this is how we first-handedly experienced both the fungible token and NFT based a DAO experience. And with that, we are currently working to come up with the models that's going to make it easier for everyone to create the NFT campaigns on top of the fungible token DAO. So this is something we're creating. It's basically a template that's specific for collection or profile NFTs. So you can, drag and drop all your art assets, creative assets, and we can do all the shuffling and random generation here. And you can basically create all those NFTs that you would want to drop. And then with that, on our platform, you can easily integrate all the DAO-based features such as governance and etc. So I think that is a not so brief introduction about who we are, and we would love to take it from here.
Sure. Thank you very much for that introduction. So you're building more of an infrastructure to enable DAOs, is it, with your?
Yes, correct. We're one of the infrastructure project that's focusing more on the NFT side of the DAOs.
Sure. So how did you get into this particular space, and what motivated you to start this particular project?
Right. So we actually started out as a P2P NFT collateralized loan platform. And when we were actually going through the acceleration program for NFTs, featured by Animoca brands, we actually thought that the demand for the NFT collateralized loan is quite low at the moment. So we wanted to focus on something that's going to be more accessible by a larger group of people. And that's when we found out that, these NFTs are on the rise. So, we were always fascinated by the power of DAO. And, throughout the experience that we first-handedly got using the Heritage DAO campaign, we realized that this is what we wanted, and this is how we wanted to pivot into.
Sure. And what future do you see for DAOs? They're becoming very popular now over conventional organizations. What is the future?
So I think DAOs are gonna play a very crucial impact on somewhat like an entity formation. So for example, we created a DAO and raised funds that were big enough to secure at least one national treasure within just few days. Now, if you are to do that with the traditional instruments from the Web 2.0 era, it is just not possible in terms of time it takes and fundraising it requires, right? So I think when it comes to that element, DAOs somewhat provide you with a tool to create somewhat entity, and with blockchain obviously it's gonna give you and grant you and reserve you all the rights in terms of your ownership among the DAOs, right? So I think that is gonna alleviate the burden of a lot of resources to be spent around that. But I think it is yet to bridge and expose and access more people from Web 2 era, because first-handedly we had some issues we had to deal with, because accounting wise and legal wise, DAO was not the legal structure from South Korea. So we had to kind of bypass it by assigning a Singaporean entity as our exclusive agent of the DAO, and then get that entity as the countersigner for every papers that we could sign in terms of the national treasure acquisition. So with that being said, I think there are a lot of pros, and I think as we expand out to more people and more jurisdiction and more a Web 2.0 world, I think DAO is gonna play a crucial role as an infrastructure.
Sure. And so also, as you mentioned that you acquired that particular national treasure, so again that was based through a DAO, so there's a collective ownership around that. So
Yes,
how does the decision making, or how does that collective ownership work?
So right now, when it comes to any decisions to be made, we are still using Snapshot as a voting mechanism. So if you are one of the fungible token, the fractional ownership of the Heritage DAO, then you can float a proposal, and you can always ask others to vote in to make the good result off of it. And that's basically how we're working right now.
So if you, with the amount of investment, you get some voting tokens, is it? And there's
Right. It was actually conducted on the juice box, and how it worked was, we issued fungible token named HDAO, and in exchange for the contribution made by Ethereum, we were giving out HDAO in certain ratio that was predetermined.
right. And as you previously mentioned, you face certain legal hurdles and regulatory problems. So, I think that is one roadblock that DAOs immediately run into. And how do you see that, getting circumvented, and how will that evolve?
So two ways, right? One, when it comes to, Web3 specific communities doing things in Web3 ways, I think, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot faster to use DAO, because DAO is also your initial community that's going to support you and provide you with resources to achieve whatever you as in collective want to achieve. But when it comes to dealing with anything legacy or Web 2.0, then obviously there's going to be some roadblocks that you're going to have to circumvent or wait till they come up with a regulatory setting or compliance setting for you to jump in. Right now, the closest thing to compliance that we have at the moment is, maybe incorporating as a Wyoming DAO or Delaware DAO with, limits to the number of people and limits to the amount of investment we can take from an individual or an organization.
Right, sure. So also one thing that you enabled with the DAO was investment. So what other things have you been enabling with Crayon, and what are the part of Crayon so far?
So we are trying to diversify the type of investment you can, yield in from the beginning, right? So fungible token-based investment DAO is probably the most common and probably the easiest way for people to get it right away, because there's so many. And what we're trying to bring is, expand the, investment in a form of membership that you pay into, and, you can basically create a community with membership of which you can decide to, exercise the treasury together, or have some kind of an important decisions that's besides treasury to be executed together as a voting throughout the governance process.
Right, sure. So as an organization, are you also operating on a DAO, as in your decision making, your day-to-day functioning?
So in terms of the Crayon itself, it's a platform, but when it comes to the Crayon DAO, which I, mentioned, the Sherpas to guide your journey, the NFT DAO journey from beginning to end, that is where the DAO plays a crucial part on our platform. So, just like any DAO, we have a shared mission and vision and that is, to support future DAOs on our platform. So, contrary to other platforms that are already out there, we have a DAO specific for the Crayon platform called Crayon DAO that is dedicated to help future DAOs in terms of funding, advisory, and marketing.
Right. So let's say if someone wants to contribute to your particular DAO, how does that process work? How can they join?
Right. So I think, it is important for us to make a distinction that, if you want to open up a DAO or DAO campaign on our platform, it is permissionless. So as long as you have the wallet that we support, you can always initiate one. But if you want to be a part of Crayon DAO, right now we're, offering the, Cray token to just organizations that we think is going to be a very good add value to our Crayon DAO Council. So we're calling it Crayon DAO Council Rise. And, we're targeting exchanges, influencers, VCs, crypto OGs, which you as an DAO want to garner the attention of anyway. So we're just trying to collect, those individuals or organization that can add value to DAO of the DAOs. So right now you would have to talk to us, and we would have to, accept you and your investment for you to be part of us. And for that, you're going to get both, NFT membership and Cray token, which is going to be your voting power for the, like a treasury control. And that's how we're going to be executing in the early days.
Right. So, as a contributor, I'm sorry if I missed that. How does that work? If particularly I want to contribute to the development of the DAO, how can I
Right.
start?
So I think right. So you can just like talk to us, Crayon DAO community, and like us, like meaning the operators of the Crayon platform. And then like if we want to onboard you as initial governance council, then we take your investment and then we just like allocate you Cray token in the pro rata that's already set. And then like we also grant you an NFT that's gonna serve as a membership for the initial governance council only. So you can have the access to the treasury control in the early days.
Right. Right. So, also, since the governance mechanism on the DAO is completely decentralized and it's embedded into a smart contract. So we've seen smart contracts being exploited earlier. So what are your views on that? Are the smart contracts and the logic robust enough today to be able to operate successfully?
Right. There are like few ways to, like be preventative about that. One is to have double or triple layers of controls over it. So for example, if it is, requiring treasury control, then I think it is always a good idea to have the multi-sig owners to approve the transaction, even though, like everything is, initiated by the smart contract. So I think it is important to have somewhat of a, like gatekeeping mechanism that involves like some works that's manual. I know it might be old fashioned, but still, only with that we can prevent, disasters that's coming arise from, like exploitation, I think.
Right. So it does require some manual or some subjective intervention to be able to prevent that success.
Yeah, I think we can provide it as an option. If you want to automate it, you can do so, but we strongly encourage you to implement, at least like multi-sig. So maybe three out of five of you have to, like agree on it in order to be propagated.
Right. Sure. So, also since we are coming to you from India, what possibilities do you see for blockchain and DAOs for a very large population like India, over 1 billion people? And what do you see can happen in such a setting?
I think, like the potential is limitless, like sky is the limit, so to say, right? I think, like when it comes to DAOs, the beauty of DAOs is that it could and it can be run by the community and somewhat of a, this democratization, right? So, like with more people, that means more like higher potential to create diverse communities of it, right? And whether it be, like social impact, collectible, investment, or GameFi even, you can create whatever you think is, meaningful and impactful. That is when it's done by DAO. So, whether you're from India or like China or like anywhere in the world, as long as you have a good idea and a group of core communities that can execute it with you, then we're all there. We're all yours. We would love to support you, and we would love to hear your story, and we would love to plan it and explore the execution together to bring your idea to life. So please let us know.
Sure. So it is able to cross certain legal and certain national boundaries, not very much possible in the legacy systems.
Correct.
So also, where is it that your DAO is based out of geographically?
I wouldn't say DAO is based on any jurisdiction geographically, but when it comes to, like contributors, I think, like it could have a more concentrated, focus depending on the nature and promoters and the initiators of the project, but we are not necessarily dividing our DAOs to be like geography focused. Instead, we just want to like accept all the projects that have great idea, great initial community, and great capability to execute. So like the beauty of DAO is that it precedes the boundaries set by politicians, right? So I think like in that regards, we don't really have any geographic focus.
Right, certainly. I think that is from my end to understand the kind of space you're into, and it was very interesting to understand about your particular DAO. So thank you very much for being on the show, and we would like to stay connected and keep the association going.
Definitely. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for asking questions, and let's have another session when we have some developments.